Hello, my name is Pamela Bailey. I'm doing my informative speech on the truths about artificial sweeteners and sugar and the effects that it has on the human body. I have found about three three references. As one is from the Harvard Health Letter. The article was, "Are artificial sweeteners a good alternative to sugar?" And in most of the articles that I have found, it basically tells you that any form of sugar is not the greatest for you, but not the worst if you keep it in moderation. Any form of sugar attributes to obesity and heart disease. Fructose found in most types of sugars can damage the liver and cause insulin resistance. High fructose corn syrup can increase triglycerides and raise blood glucose as well as insulin. In an article written in 2001, which was from the Harvard Health Letter, it was stated that the FDA had approved 5 artificial sweeteners, one of them being ace sulfame, aspartame, neotame, saccharin, and sucralose. And with this approval was a plant-derived non-caloric sweetener called stevia. At this time this article was written, they said cancer was dismissed, but that there were other side effects to having too much of these sweeteners, like headaches, among other reactions from sensitive individuals. Another rumoring fact is that consuming many of these artificial sweeteners can become a form of addiction, per se, for some people who crave the sweetness, and considering most of these sweeteners are way more sweet than regular table sugar, it is what these types of people could consume the most of, which would then put them at risk of weight gain rather than the thought of weight loss. Basically saying the more people wanted to lose weight, they were looking to avoid sugar because sugar was so high in calories. They rather go for the artificial sweetener because it was lower in calories and they could consume more. But the problem with that is that people were over consuming artificial sweeteners and in the end adding weight gain and other risks. If done in moderation, it may possibly be more beneficial, but that requires strict discipline. Fresh fruits and real sugar in moderation is more of a natural and more healthful way of going in a diet, according to the article from Harvard Health Letter. Another article that I had found was on WebMD, called "The Truth on Artificial Sweeteners." It seems as though most artificial sweeteners are based to draw people into eating certain types of foods and getting them addicted, as well as trying to trick people that if they consume artificial sweeteners, that they will lose more weight and be able to eat more of certain foods or drinks, more of certain beverages, because there are less calories and, like I said earlier, in the artificial sweeteners. Even though sugar has a high calorie content, it is more healthful because it's natural. It isn't supposed to be consumed in an abundance, that it should be consumed in moderation, just like any other types of foods. And I think that's where a lot of the people who are going for artificial sweeteners are looking to just have what they want when they want. There's also it says here, sugars are found in cereals, snacks, sodas, ice cream, and etc. It is because of all these types of foods that most Americans consume about 20 teaspoons of sugar in a day. In another article, in this article from WebMD, it says that saccharin is an FDA-approved sweetener that is 300 times sweeter than sugar. And Ruth Kava, PhD, RD, Director of Nutrition for the American Council of Science and Health, stated, that in the 1970s the FDA was going to ban saccharin based on the reports of a Canadian study that showed that saccharin was causing bladder cancer in rats. A public outcry kept saccharin on the shelves. There were no other sugar substitutes at that time, but with a warning label that read, "Use of this product may be hazardous to your health." This product contains saccharin, which has been determined to cause cancer in laboratory animals. That warning label is no longer needed. Like I said, according to Ruth Cava, PhD, RD, Director of Nutrition for the American Council of Science and Health. But with further research has shown that male rats have a particular pH factor that predisposes them to bladder cancer. Also said was, what may be true for male rats does not necessarily hold true for humans or for female rats. Hence, no more warning labels for saccharin. She said that a lot of things that cause harm in animals don't always cause harm in humans. And that, with that being said about saccharin, it is stated in this article on WebMD that aspartame is also another sweetener that, even with thorough research and testing, it's been criticized, many, and still approved by the FDA to be safe. There were rumors about aspartame causing brain tumors and chronic fatigue syndrome, and Ruth Cava, PhD, RD, had said that this isn't so. Only people for whom aspartame is a medical problem are those with the genetic condition known as PKU, phenylketonuria, disorder of amino acid metabolism. According to an article written in Yahoo Health, it did go on about dairy and how they thought that if they added the artificial sweeteners to dairy products, that they could have children more attracted to drinking dairy, and that it would be better for them and more beneficial for them to get their natural vitamins through the dairy, but that they were holding off on it because of the fear of weight gain in children from the artificial sweeteners. This article also talks about the health risks from consuming diet beverages and aspartame, being higher risk for type 2 diabetes, depression in adults, heart attack and stroke, kidney trouble, preterm delivery, and the main problem with, like I said, with that I have found in all articles was the weight gain issue. Like I said, the weight gain is the biggest issue in everyone for artificial sweeteners, because they think that they can just overconsume because it comes in all this stuff, that they're getting the best deal per se than everybody else, because they can eat whatever they want when they want to. Let's see. This Yahoo Health article, that's right, it said that it wanted to boost kid appeal on milk products by adding artificial sweeteners such as aspartame in the ingredients in milk and other dairy foods, without labeling it, without any special labeling, just so they can attract more kids to consume milk, because there has been such a shortage in the amount of milk that children are drinking. As far as the higher risk for type 2 diabetes, this is saying that there was French researchers that had found sugar-free soft drinks also boost the threat of diabetes. The study, to be published in American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, tracked 66,118 women over a period of 14 years. While sipping both diet and regular soda magnified risk, the diet drinkers had higher risk for diabetes. However, this type of study is not designed to prove a cause and effect relationship. The link with depression was a new study funded by the National Institutes of Health involving more than 260,000 adults ages 50 to 71, surveyed beverage drinking habits. 10 years later, the participants were asked if they had been diagnosed with depression. Those who reported swilling 4 or more cans of soda daily were 30% more likely to develop depression than those who shunned soda. Overall risk was higher in people who drank any of the diet beverages studied, soda, iced tea, and fruit drinks, compared to those who sipped the full-calorie versions. Drinking unsweetened coffee, on the other hand, was linked to a 10% lower rate of the mood disorder, prompting the researchers to recommend dieting and grabbing a cup of joe. In conclusion, sugar and sweeteners seem to be just fine when approved by the FDA to be consumed, but that just like everything else, it should be done in moderation. If you're going to have artificial sweeteners, just keep in mind that they are way more sweeter than regular sugar, and fresh fruits and good foods taste not as sweet or more bland if you've overloaded on artificial sweeteners.